everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks. Joined by myself, Dakota, Timothy. How we doing tonight?
Pretty well. It's a fun time of the
Well,
year. We're in
pretty
between
well.
free agency and March Madness.
Did you think that we would be on an episode saying Saquon Barkley is a Philadelphia Eagle?
No, not at all. I think in a weird way, I think my first reaction was, wow, I did not see that coming. The Eagles, I like to say I'm pretty up on the rumors and everything, but even though they were swirling, didn't see it coming. Didn't think this would actually happen.
Yeah. Last week when all the rumors were like, "Oh, Eagles are gonna push heavy for Saquon," I'm like, "No, they're not. That's not like they're in their character." Um, and we've seen that they can kind of get away with, I wouldn't say low level running backs, but Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift are both like, I would say, good running backs and not like great top 10 players.
Yeah.
Um, and both of them finished fifth in rushing yards when they were with the Eagles in their last years. So, yeah, I mean, imagine Saquon's going from like an offensive line that ranked dead last in almost every rushing stat as far as blocking, like, win-loss
Well, yeah.
blocks and openings and blocking percentage to the like number one and two line across the board. So it's going to be pretty scary. I mean, if they can figure it out and call some good plays, I mean, I have to imagine this means they're going to do more play action, more more intricate, more creative plays because they're going to try and get Saquon involved in the passing game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully it's a good thing. But yeah, I definitely did not think. And it's funny. I like Saquon. Like I follow him. I followed him on Instagram when he got drafted and stuff. Even though he played for the Giants, and so it's kind of cool. I mean, I like him as a person. It's funny seeing all the fallout from the Giants with Tiki Barber saying you're dead to us, and
No, he's such a loser. Oh, Saquon clapping back with
oh, I
I
loved
saw him
it.
post something about the many men was just beautiful. This
Yeah.
guy, like, I didn't realize it until today, but he is born to be an Eagle. And I think it's just a win-win altogether.
Well, I
I,
mean, I think he grew up as an Eagles fan because he's from the area. Like he grew up in
yeah,
like was it Allentownish area, I
yeah,
believe.
somewhere
Went
central
to
PA
Whitehall.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He, like, like you said, I mean, we talked about this before the free agency kicked off. I wanted to keep Swift. I wanted to keep Swift. I think that was my number one running back goal. I was a little curious when you brought in Barkley. One, how he never invested in running backs, let alone the biggest running back arguably on the market,
Yeah.
to a pretty sizable contract, especially if you see what Swift got. Barkley's making it considerably more than Swift was, or got with the Bears. But I mean, looking in the positive, in a vacuum, we're a better team now. I think Saquon
Oh yeah.
Barkley. I don't think you've seen the best of Saquon Barkley yet. He's been you tell me the offensive line was like arguably the worst run blocking offensive line in all
His
football
his
last year.
entire six
They've
years. Yeah.
they've been, yeah, like every single year they've been horrendous since he's been there. Daniel Jones sucks. Like they've had no wide receivers. None of like this offense has been stagnant and runs through Saquon. He was banged up, but mostly in the beginning of the career. He's recently been pretty healthy. I think this is going to breathe new life into him. He seemed kind of checked out and not really interested in the Giants the last couple of years, but I don't think you'd fault him. He's been through this contract negotiation thing that's never gone anywhere with them. They had
Yeah.
obviously had the holdout. They had to redo the tag for him. So I mean, I'm interested. I mean, it helps to think. I mean, this is definitely not a Howie move. So you have to think this is
No.
coming from the coaches. So do we run the ball? Are we like actually going to run the ball now? Like we've got a $12 million a year running back now. Like we have to run the ball, right?
I don't know. But I mean, I'm already seeing the jokes of, Saquon Barkley gets all the way down the field, stopped on the 1 yard line, and it's either Kenneth Gainwell comes in or Jalen Hurts puts it in from the 1 yard line.
Hey,
So
well, you know what? That's fine. If he can get us down, I really think, this is a move you make because you have a specific plan for him. You don't go, break your trend. I mean, like you said,
that,
Miles Sanders and Swift both got multi-year deals
oh
after they
yeah,
finished with
Barkley's
us.
gonna feast. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of it too is like you look at I would argue injuries aside, and I know they're part of the game, but injuries aside, pure talent, he's probably top five pure talent running back we've had in the NFL in the last 10 years. Like
Oh, yeah. He's
as far as
dual
what he's able to
threats, picks up
do,
the blitz well. He can receive the ball
yeah, he
well. Like
can
he's
he can
very
receive, he can
flexible.
block. He's tough between the tackles. He can juke you out. We've seen him hurdle our own players.
That's true.
So,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
um, but yeah, I'm as soon as Swift signed with the Bears, I was like, it like all hit me. I was like, holy shit, they are actually trying to go get in Saquon because otherwise
Yeah.
they would have brought Swift back. Um, but yeah, it's crazy, crazy.
I
Another
mean, like
player,
Swift was
yeah,
the guy. Like it's still mind blowing that we have Saquon Barkley. It really hasn't set in, I think, fully, but it's almost like it's so against what we're used to. Like I'm pretty excited, like to see what happens. Like this is who's the best running back? Like probably since McCoy, easy. I mean,
oh
think of
yeah,
how excited, think how excited we were when we signed Rashad Penny last year. That's like the
like
threshold of
oh we
running
got a
backs we're used
bruiser.
to. Yeah, we were so excited for that. Oh, if he can only stay healthy, he's awesome. I mean, now you ended up with Saquon Barkley. It, it it's not a Howie
Uh-huh.
move at all, but it's got me excited. It makes me think that they're willing to, step out of their normal mold to see, and one, they're going to be active in free agency. Obviously, they made some other moves, which I'm sure you'll get into, but it doesn't seem
Yeah,
like they're done either.
yeah, and it's funny because I was thinking about, I was like, well, shit, if he's willing to spend money on a running back, does that mean we're gonna get a linebacker? Like, we're gonna get Devin White news tomorrow, or like, what's good?
Yeah, that's probably a
But
stretch. You can get you get a linebacker in the draft, but I don't know if you're getting a free
yeah,
agent.
yeah, but they did fill a couple other holes. Most recently today, the was today 12th, 11th, I forget, but Tuesday, news came out that they brought back CJ Gardner Johnson, which is awesome. It's
Love
good to
it.
see.
Love
There was
it.
clearly a mutual interest there for them to both get together again. I think it was 3 years, 33 million he got.
Very respectable deal. I mean, like,
Yeah,
but win-win
20,
all
he's
together.
26. So like
You could tell he liked being
we'll get his
here.
best years.
The rumors that were flying around that, how he didn't offer him a contract, it's hard to believe now that he came back. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was just a mixture of like, it's like a couple that really, yeah, they're fiery, but they really are meant for each other. But, they get in that one fight and all hell breaks loose. And then eventually, they'll come back to each other and they know it's for the best. Like that's what this kind of feels like. They,
My
things
guess,
didn't go around
yeah.
the first well and then they got a little testy and now we're back.
My guess, well, that's why people were saying like this man was built to play in Philly because like literally called them out, called them trash, and then
Yeah.
left, and then came back, and now they're best friends again. So he's like, yo, you're so Philly, bro. But yeah, no, I definitely think what happened last year was just, I don't think the Eagles necessarily lowballed him as far as the market was concerned, but I think he felt lowballed and he was like, I'm gonna go get a 1 year prove it deal with Detroit and then go make more money.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I don't know if he got more money, but he got, paid enough.
Well, I
So
think he saw it as an opportunity, like, all right, people think I'm the product of this system with the Eagles. I'm going to go to another team, prove it. And, I think he ultimately was like, you know what, I like the city. I like the situation I was with. I mean, the secondary is not too much different than when he was here the first time. Bradbury
yeah.
Slayer here, it's, I know Gannon's gone, but, Sirianni's still the coach. You still have pretty much the same exact D line almost.
Hmm.
But there's pieces there that reflect how it was when he was here.
I will say it's nice to see the Eagles bring in some younger players because obviously in the past we've been signing a little older players, but Saquon just turned 27.
Yeah.
Um, Gardner Johnson basically just turned 26. Um, and then they also signed pretty huge. I think it was meant to be also Bryce Huff from the Jets, the edge rusher. He'll be turning 26 by the start of the season.
Yeah.
Um, and he's on the up and coming. So hopefully we got him at the right. This feels very Javon Hargrave, where like Hargrave was having a bit of a breakout year, and then we brought him over to the Eagles, and then he like, obviously did really well,
Oh
got a
yeah,
huge contract with San Fran.
this this is the most like Saquon is nothing what Howie normally does. Saquon is not a Howie move.
Oh no.
This is a Howie move.
Oh yeah,
It
Bryce Huff's
reminds
a Howie
me,
move.
I mean, Hargrave is a perfect example, but you know who it also kind of reminds me of to a lesser extent? It reminds me when we brought in Reddick. Like Reddick
Mm,
wasn't the force he was with us now. Like he
yeah.
was a pass rush specialist who, I mean, he was better and had a better track record than Huff did, but he was a pass rush specialist that kind of looked like he was a guy that deserved more and deserved a better chance, more of a full-time position. He got a deal which now is below market by a lot.
Yeah.
And it just this is just quintessential Howie, like getting in a low ball. Like, hell, I'm much happier doing this than I am trading all of the picks away and signing Brian Burns for 30 million or signing Daniel Hunter for 50 million for the next 2 years. Like
Yeah.
this is a Howie move. I love it.
Yeah. And then I mean they are still rumored to be interested in Justin Simmons, the former Broncos safety. So I mean, my thought process there is that there were so many injuries in the secondary last year, and Gardner Johnson can play slot and safety. So honestly, it's not super far-fetched because Simmons also played in Fangio's defense when he was with the Broncos, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I'd be down for it. Or, and this is another rumor going around that they're shopping Reddick or Josh Sweat. And then earlier today, I think it was Sweat like commented on some Instagram post, like a fan page of his, and he was like, "I'm gonna miss you guys." So who knows what that actually means? But I mean, hey, ship
Yeah.
off Sweat to Denver and get Patrick Surtain. I would be loving that. But
Well, yeah, unfortunately, we're not all playing Madden GM here with trades off,
throw a couple picks in there.
Yeah, I think Sweat's gone. I not necessarily like
I'd
he's a
rather
bad
keep
player
Reddick
thing.
than Sweat though.
Well, because
So
Reddick fits the system. Sweat doesn't really fit this 3-4 system.
and I think Sweat, he's I know with Eagles DNs, like the numbers aren't always going to be like Brandon Graham, perfect example. Great player. His numbers weren't always there, but he was getting pressures. He was around the quarterback, causing, causing problems. But Sweat, I just feel like is not like he'll disappear. Then he'll have like a game where he has 3 sacks. Then he'll disappear
Yeah.
again. Then he'll have a fucking pick six. Then he'll disappear again. So I like Sweat. He's definitely a starter on many teams, but I'm not going to cry. Like I'll be more upset over Reddick leaving than I will Sweat.
No, yeah, I think I mean Sweat just he just doesn't seem I don't see a natural position for him in the 3-4. Like just looking at
Yeah,
it now, like you kind of look at it like Davis in the middle. I think Jalen Carter will dominate in a 3 tech
I hope
and a
so.
3-4. Brandon Graham obviously on the edge, and then Huff and Reddick on as your outside linebackers. I just don't really see the spot for Sweat. You free up a little bit of the cap. Um, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, he's under contract. He's really not making that all that much. He's a solid player. We know him well. I definitely wouldn't mind bringing him back, but I just think he doesn't naturally fit into the 3-4. So I understand why they'd be willing to shop him.
Yeah. So we'll see. And then the other players the Eagles signed, they did sign a guard slash center, I believe he is. Forget his first name, but his last name is Hennessy, so that's a phenomenal name.
There you go.
Nice backup piece. And then they did sign Devontae Parker, which I feel like that's like a couple years late because they were trying to trade for him back in like 2018,
That's true.
2019.
I actually forgot he was in the NFL still. I forgot that name like
Well,
existed.
because he went to the Patriots, and when the Patriots don't have Tom Brady, wide receivers go there to die. So
Yeah, I
um,
mean, he's gonna be 3. I don't really
yeah,
know
he'll be a three or
like
a four. I'm not. I mean, it's a 1 year deal for 4.69 million, but the Eagles are only paying 1.2 million of that. The Patriots are paying the rest, so that's a
why not?
deal for a solid player. Now, I jokingly like the idea of bringing in OBJ as the
No,
third and pair
absolutely
him with
not.
Saquon. Can you imagine the rage Giants fans would
No.
be? They would be so fucking pissed.
I just this is
Just sign him just to piss them off. That's all I want.
yeah, that's what I mean. I really like. I mean, the match with Saquon like is going to be great. Like he instantly seems like it's double birds up to New York. Like
I
those
mean,
that day is completely gone. Like I don't think there's going to be a post like, "Oh, Giants fan, I'm really going to miss you" or anything. Like no, it seems like they are dead to him.
can you
Literally.
imagine though, like a fucking play action or like a sweep with coming at you as a defender, and it's Jalen Hurts with the ball and Saquon's right behind him. Like you're not stopping either of those guys on a first
I mean,
tackle.
listen, I in a vacuum, it makes your team better. It seems odd because it's not what we normally do, and it's pricier than what Swift would have cost you, who was
Yeah,
very good last year. But I mean, in a vacuum, Saquon Barkley makes your team
the
better.
the idea of it in my heart, I loved. The idea of it in my brain, I was like kind of iffy on because of mostly the money. But I've really like warmed up to it because he seems like he wants to be here too, which is good. Like he's getting his money, he wants to play for Philly. Um, and it's a scare. I mean, that's got to be, if not the bet, like we got to be up there with, I don't even know, probably it's just us and San Fran, best offensive groups as far as tight end, receiver, running back,
Well,
quarterback
yeah, I
all
mean, it doesn't
around.
get much better. I just think the motor, like Saquon has had some good years with like really good years with Giants, but I realistically think that you haven't seen the best of him yet. Look at like the big things like.
He's probably
You have a
gonna
chance.
he's gonna be so surprised at how big the holes are. He's like, oh,
As
wow,
I say,
I can
he's
run.
got a chance to win. He's got a realistic chance of winning. He's got the best offensive line he's ever had by far,
Mhm.
and he's got his guaranteed money that he won in the contract. Like three things he's never had with the Giants, and they've constantly butted heads over. Like,
Yeah.
he's got them already. It doesn't have to be the focal point. Like the offense for the Giants went with Barkley. Like that was kind of how it was. And I think he took on a little bit too much of the blame when, the Giants couldn't do anything offensively.
Yeah. Well, uh, the Giants, while they did lose Barkley and they lost Xavier McKinney, the safety, to Green Bay, they did somehow fleece Brian Burns from the Panthers, which I just
Boy, the Panthers are. I
they
would.
the Panthers could have gotten like two first rounds or a first and a second for Burns during the season, and they held on to him to win what, one or two games, and then trade him for a second and a fifth.
Am I
Like,
like? Am I the only one to think like? When you turn down the two first, that's insane. That deal has to be done. And now, like, yeah, the Giants didn't give up much, but he's making like a huge amount of money. At least
oh, he
30
got
million a year.
5 year, 150 million, I think it
Yeah.
is.
Like, am I the only one who thinks that Brian Burns is a little overrated? Like, two first, we're talking about a 30 million year player.
Mm,
Daniel Hunter, who's coming off a 16 and a half sack, got 24 million a year or 25 million a year. Like, and
yeah,
it's only a 2 year deal. I don't know. I would rather have Hunter. I know he has the injury concerns, but the guy had a much better season than Burns this year. Burns was coming off a very bad season. I know his team stunk, but I don't know. I think Burns is a little overrated. I was surprised by how big the contract was. I get it. There was not much draft like capital yet to trade, but the contract's huge.
yeah. I mean and what they've traded away DJ Moore and Brian Burns and all these other pieces, draft picks, and all they've gotten really is Bryce Young and like what, I don't even know what else.
Bryce
Like
Young.
it's
That's it. Literally, that's
it's
it.
a colossal failure right now. They are
They're
not
going nowhere fast.
not doing much. But um elsewhere around the league, Kirk O'Bangs got his money yet again. Four
Boy, I don't get
years,
that.
4 years, 180 million. I think it's
I
100
s-
million guaranteed. Yeah,
do you really
100
want to
million guaranteed.
there's so many things here. Like one, like okay, congratulations. You might make the wild card. You might win one playoff
I
game.
mean, their
Might.
offense is nice now. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah, but
if
Kirk
like
Cousins isn't even going to be. Is he going to be healthy? The guy blew out his Achilles 6 months ago.
that's the other thing. Like he hasn't played since the middle of the season, and they just like handed him the Brinks truck. I'm like,
Just give him 100 million guaranteed to a 36-year-old player who's coming off a blown out Achilles. Like what? Like, all
yeah,
right, it's like What boggles my mind with Kirk Cousins is this deal is very similar, or it might be slightly more, but the cap went up to what he got with the Vikings. Was that big, all guaranteed contract? But what has he actually done with the Vikings that makes you think he should have got that contract again or given a raise? He blew out his Achilles. I don't even know if he won a playoff game with the Vikings. I think he did actually. But why, like, his value doesn't go down? I don't get it. I don't get the allure of Kirk Cousins. What does he have to do for his value to go down? Because a whole bunch of nothing is what he did with the Vikings.
yeah, but I don't know. But they have hopefully Kyle Pitts does something for them, and they have Drake London, they have Bijan Robinson, and they just signed Darnell Mooney to a pretty healthy contract, 3 years, 39 million from the Bears. So I don't know. We'll see. But elsewhere, I mean, the Dolphins were falling apart. They lost like a ton of their good players. Christian
Mm.
Wilkins went to the Raiders for 110 million.
Yeah, it
Um,
was a big move.
That's great to pair him with Crosby. That's going to be pretty lethal.
Yeah.
Um, Robert Hunt, the guard from Miami, got 100 million. A guard got a hundred
But
million.
you know what? That signing is like what that was like a okay, I love you, Howie. Like this is I'm glad I have Howie as my general manager.
Oh yeah,
The
he
guy
got
locks
Dickerson
up
done out of the way,
Landon
and then
Dickerson,
the
who is
dominoes fell.
Landon Dickerson is head and shoulders better than Robert Hunt, and we got him extended for cheap
Yeah,
compared to what this guy just got. Like I that was just like a God, Howie, I'm so glad we have you as the GM.
yeah, crazy work. And then Jonathan Grenard, I forget how to pronounce his name, the edge rusher, linebacker from Houston, went to Minnesota, 4 years, 76 million. But then Minnesota lost Daniel Hunter, who went to Houston. So there's basically like a swap. He
Flip
got
flop.
what, 2 year, 50 mil, something like that, 49
I
mil.
like Hunter there. I like Hunter. The Texans are a team that I thought they would. They picked up Mixon. They picked up Hunter. Like these are good moves for them. They're a young team. They started coming in their own last year. They were definitely a big contender. Get in some
Yeah,
veteran pieces, put them over the edge. I
Mixon,
like these moves.
Mixon and Pierce is a nice 1-2 punch. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see how that works out. Another guard, Damian Lewis from Seattle, went to Carolina, 4 year, 53 million. There's a couple guards that got paid. Beyond that, we had just trying to find the heavy Josh Jacobs. That was a surprise to Green Bay of all teams.
That was such a
Four
bad. I don't
years,
get that move.
48 mil, and then they
Josh Jacobs
cut,
might be. Yeah,
and then they
it's
cut Aaron Jones. I was like, what the fuck?
Jacobs might be younger by a couple years, but like their contracts are the same. Like Jacobs getting like 12. I think Jones was due 11, but Jones is the much better player, like significantly better. I don't didn't really make
Yeah,
sense.
I don't.
Don't
Not
like
sure
that
about
move at
that.
all.
But a lot of villain activity going on. We had trading sides going to your enemy. Obviously, Saquon went from the Giants to the Eagles. So Aaron Jones went from Green Bay and signed with the Vikings.
Can't
And
blame
you
him.
had
They
Patrick
did him dirty.
Queen. Patrick Queen went to Pittsburgh. 3 years,
Odd.
41 mil. The Eagles weren't going to pay that, so that's not
No.
surprising. Um, who else? Somebody else left and went to a division rival. I forget. But let's see who else we got here. Um,
Got
Darnell Mooney, I said that. Gabe Davis, UCF alum.
UCF great.
UCF great. Went from Buffalo to Jacksonville, 3 years, 39
Big
million. Buffalo and Miami lost a lot of players this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo was already kind of making those moves. The thing
Yeah.
is odd is like Buffalo lost like, extra guys. Travis White, Poyer, guys are banged up. They're on the
Hmm.
down low, decline. Gabe Davis, we love big play Gabe, but he's like a minor role guy. Same with some other guys. The Dolphins lost some big players,
Yeah.
and you have to think they're extending Tua this year. Otherwise, what's the point? You want to just make one more run at it on a cheap deal, but hey,
Yeah. Some other quick notables. Zadarius Smith staying in Cleveland, so him and Myles Garrett can run it back. DeAndre Swift, like I said, we said went to Chicago. That was kind of surprising because they have two good running backs already, but I don't know. Tony Pollard went to Tennessee. Dallas lost a lot of players too.
I didn't sign
Love seeing
anyone.
that. Yeah, they signed. No, they signed their long snapper.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, big boost.
Gardner Minshew went to Vegas, although now Vegas is rumored to be in the Justin Fields sweepstakes. And oddly
Very
enough, the
odd.
Eagles' name keeps coming up, which is just stupid because A, I don't think Justin Fields would want to be a backup. B, it would be a very expensive trade for a backup, and we don't need more
Yeah,
QB
and
drama. So,
I don't necessarily think he's the backup I would want. Like the guy is
no,
young, he needs snaps. I don't think he's gonna get better. I'd
yeah,
give me Gittin Gardner. But I think one of the bigger moves that we haven't discussed yet, King Henry goes to the Ravens. Match made in
yeah.
heaven.
I was gonna say that one. That's one of the few that made total sense. I was worried he was gonna go to Dallas for a second because it was way too quiet, and we weren't hearing any rumors about Henry. But yeah, I think that's a good fit. I mean, especially if they're not bringing back OBJ. I mean, not that he was a huge part of their offense, but
No, but their backfield, I mean, people have been writing off Derrick Henry for 3 years now. Like, Fleury's
And,
incredible
and for
take
Mr.
of not
Fleury,
ranking him. Yeah. And keeps on
Andre
churning out. But
Stevenson.
I mean, the guy's going to go from being the only offensive option on a bad team to now going into pretty much the Gus Edwards role. Like with the Ravens, I think Keontae Mitchell still has a role in this offense. He's too good, too fast. Lamar's
Yeah.
still going to Lamar, and like you're really just plugging Derrick Henry into a Gus Edwards role, which I think is great for both team and player.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
lot of players leaving. A lot of surprises. I mean, every year I feel like I'm like, wow, this is the most crazy free agency yet. But
yeah.
this one might be up there. I mean, I've never seen running backs get paid like this, so
It's
it's
been, I mean, it's missing the trade
sort of a
market.
renaissance.
We've only seen the one trade. We need
Well,
like that's the ones that shock you.
I could also see, because now it's quiet down a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get to draft day and all of a sudden, like kind of how when it was the Cardinals traded Josh Rosen on draft day when they drafted a quarterback. I
Yeah.
could see the Bears trading Justin Fields when they draft Caleb Williams, but I don't know. We'll see. But I like what the Eagles did. Obviously bringing CJ Garner-Johnson back is huge. We get a little bit more swagger, a little toughness in the
Needed it.
defense again. Desperately needed that. Need some turnovers again. Um, and yeah, we'll see what else they decide to do. But it looks like linebacker is not a priority in free agency for them. So hopefully we get some drafts from
Listen, you got a big
linebackers.
name. You got a big name running back. Don't be jumping off a bridge yet. This
Oh,
is still Howie's show.
yeah, but he's
But
cooking
yeah,
with grease, and I'm here for it. So
yeah. I give him. He's been doing pretty good so far. So I'm
I'll give him an
buckling for
A.
day 3. Yeah.
Well, all
But
right, so that's a wrap, and we'll see what else they got in their pockets.
cool. Till then, I'll talk
All
to you.
right, peace out.
Peace.